How many months a year do you, stay in one house?
How you mean? How many frequent flyer miles I've got?
No, I was just wondering what your scope
I
is.
basically spent almost the entirety of the last 2 years in Beijing,
Okay.
except for the times that I was going to Europe to work on this record.
And is it strange for you to go back to Europe then? Because, I think I can imagine Beijing.
Let's talk about the record. That's enough. Let's talk about the record.
Okay. I was thinking maybe it's a nice introduction.
It's too much my personal life and too much travel. I would prefer talking
Okay.
about the record. It's much easier for me to actually talk about other things too.
Okay, that's good.
Right? It's much more difficult to talk to me about other things.
Okay. First, I was wondering how do you look back now on because you have the Musterhaus project you have.
Mm-hmm. It's finished, yeah.
It's finished, yeah. And your last studio album with Einsturzende Neubauten was Perpetuum Mobile.
Well, the last album we did with Einsturzende Neubauten was actually Grundstuck.
Okay.
But Grundstuck was not discussed or in the public because it was only sent out to our subscribers.
Okay.
But it was a complete album. It was a complete album, and we did altogether we did 3 albums since we started working on a subscriptional basis. We did one album we divide them in phases. So in phase 1 we did an album for the subscribers and another album for the public, and they overlapped. That's like 50-50 was on both, and so that wasn't the most elegant solution. But then also we were trying it for the first time. It was we had to. Then we did another album and a DVD, and that went out only to subscribers. You could not buy it in a record shop. Now we are in phase 3. We have made one album for the subscribers and a smaller version of that album for the public, a DVD, and 15 downloads, monthly downloads that also form another album, a immaterial album, so to speak. And in the same time, we had another subscription going where we made altogether 8 albums of more experimental focus music. Strange enough to say that for Neubauten. We make something that even more experimental, and of which 4 fell into this period. So we made six albums in 14 months. I don't say that to boast anything. I just want to make clear what we did in that period. We were basically we were working on in our main theater, das große Haus. There we did the album. We worked on this album for 14 months. But in the same time that we worked on this album, we also had some things in the smaller chamber theater there. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a smaller chamber theater attached to it, where we did smaller pieces very stranger pieces, but etc. And then we had this other thing out there at the edge of the city, which is an old industrial place that has been where we did our experimental theater. So in this experimental theater, in the Musterhauses, we did things like working with old cassette players, and then we worked with, we did a whole record of piano music and all that. And every now and then, all this like research and experimental stuff found its way back into the große Haus.
Okay.
Yeah. And same for the chamber theater. We did work with dreams, we did work with special techniques, we worked with a card coordination navigation system that I developed especially for Neubauten. And we took some of the directions from that, and it went way back to the große Haus.